G'day, just showing you guys how I set up for remote travel. One up, and keeping the objective is to keep the weight between the front and the rear wheels, not on the overhang, just to make the car handle corrugations and rough roads better. Anyway, starting with the fridge. I've taken the passenger seat out, put a platform in its place on the original seat mounts, and then I put my fridge in and strap it down to that platform. The lid opens this way, so you can access it from outside with the door open, or with the window down. You can open it up easily, get your stuff in and out. I freeze ice blocks during the day while I'm driving when the motor's going, and then I transfer them across into this little esky, and I just keep my drink bottles and snack food or whatever is in there for quick access during the day. And I change that so the lid goes forward rather than sideways, and it's just the right height for an elbow rest. Now I run 3 jerry cans underneath this bed platform, and they're strapped in good and proper. They can't move, and they've got foam in between them so they don't rub. And what I do is use a 12-volt pump that has a cigarette lighter plug and a suction and a delivery hose. It's a proper diesel pump, and I just take the cap off and decant it pump it into the tank. And as you can see, I can open the cap up at a petrol station and just fill them up. The third one's a little bit trickier, but that saves me putting a stupid long-range fuel tank in that I've found they just split and leak and cause you grief and extra weight, and I think that's ideal. It's contained 20 litres in each one, and it's safe as houses, and you don't smell it. If you compress the jerry can once you fill it with your knee against something and then do up the cap, it's trying to suck in all the time, so it doesn't emit any vapour or smell. I've never smelt diesel in my car. Right, moving along here. To get the weight into the centre of the car, I use my spare tyre off the back, with the rim is strapped behind the back seat, and I have a carcass. I've got all the tools on board to strip a tubeless tyre down off the rim, so there's no use taking extra rims. I've got the ability to change it. That's an empty carcass, doesn't weigh much, and it's fantastic storage. I'll just show you how this tyre is strapped so you can understand it's not going to kill me. I've got metal bars going across the back of the seats, and the tyre is strapped to that metal bar, and it's strapped down to the floor, and it won't be getting out. And I've got a couple of bits of wood there that's pushed up against, and they're my jacking blocks that I use under the car with my small jack, because a high lift jack, it's really, I think it's just a waste of weight and effort and size. A good hydraulic jack, some bits of wood to put the jack on, works well, and gives me heaps of storage in here for bits and pieces. Anyway, moving along. So we've got the bed and some boxes and stuff that I'll show you in a second, but it gives me a whole lot of space to use, get dressed, whatever. All right, moving along. Okay, so in here, behind the jerry cans, I have 2 plastic boxes. That's for clothes, one for clean clothes, one for dirty clothes, and I always take along washing powder and pegs and clothesline and stuff when you drop into caravan parks, whatever, to wash your clothes. I've got my food and cooking equipment, easy access, just undo the strap, slide it out. I've just put these little corners on these boxes just so it's one whole unit, and it can't slide off and fall out of the cavity onto there. I've got my toolbox here. I've got my cover for the back, and I've got some poles for the tarp. And I've shown you guys before that in all of these side panels there's all doors, and there's all my spare parts and filters and oil and bead breakers and jumper leads and puncture repair kits, you name it, it's all in the sides. So it's not like I don't have a lot of stuff, I just don't have it cluttering the usable area. This bed I've made up out of this really lightweight slotted angle, and you can buy the brackets and everything and these quirky little screws, and this weighs absolutely nothing. It's strong. It's a thin piece of plyboard, and then I've got the mattress sitting on top of these, so I've got ventilation for the condensation. Good mattress. Keep my bedding in a bag, so the little bit of dust that gets in doesn't get into the bedding. I have a box that I can take out, which has got some miscellaneous bits and pieces in it. I have this container that I collect any water along the way from anywhere, and that's what I use for my shower. If it's empty, it sits up there. If it's full, starting to get a bit heavy, I keep it down low, strap it down low on the floor so it doesn't smash my car to pieces. I've got my secondary water here. Never put taps in the bottom of a drum, otherwise you end up with a big puddle and you lost all your water. Just put one of those in the top, and that's strapped down. Can take it away, fill it up, put it back. Use that in conjunction with my 40 litres underneath the car. When that's empty, I can fill it up 20 litres out of my 40 litre tank. I know I've got 20 litres there, I've got 20 litres in the back. That's how I run with my water. And to utilise the back door, which is now super lightweight, and he's not going to get punished on the corrugations with that big spare tyre on it, I put the bottom of a milk crate, attach it to the studs. I attach the bin to it. Got to have a bit of grass in the middle of Australia on the desert, so when you at the back of your car and you're about to get in, you can take your shoes off, stand on the grass, and then get into the back of the car. And it all weighs nothing. So yeah, got one of those gas struts on the bottom of the door. So yeah, so that's my setup for remote. Now the last time I put this on a set of scales, weighbridge, it weighs with 240 litres of fuel, with 60 litres of water, all my food, some beer and everything, 2.9 tonnes. So it's under 3 tonnes. So I suppose with me in it, and so 3 tonnes. So it's under the GVM, and I've got everything I need for remote travel. Last year I was out for 4 weeks, 5 weeks, very remote, and yeah, only had one stop for getting supplies for that whole time. I'm about to go away again in the middle of Australia, so that's my setup, and hopefully that helps you guys out for what you're trying to do, and just different alternatives to putting epic infrastructure in that weighs a lot, and gives you an idea how you can contain all the weight in between the front and the rear axles. So hit the like button, share the video, and thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.